Around the world, there are a handful of places where people live noticeably longer, healthier lives. Regions where reaching 90 or even 100 years old is not an exception but part of the norm. These so-called blue zones, identified in research led by Dan Buettner and others, include Okinawa in Japan, Ikaria in Greece, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Loma Linda in California, and Sardinia in Italy. But more recently, scientific attention has also turned to Salento, a region in southern Italy where longevity rates rival and sometimes exceed those found in traditional blue zones. What makes these populations so resilient to chronic diseases and cognitive decline, and what can their way of life teach the rest of us? The common thread that runs through blue zone populations is not any single superfood or miracle supplement, but rather a deeply integrated lifestyle. One where diet, movement, purpose, and social cohesion all converge to support health across decades. These regions are not just outliers in lifespan, but in health span, the number of years lived free from serious disease. And the exciting part is that many of their habits are replicable, adaptable, and increasingly supported by modern science. Diet, for instance, plays a crucial role, but not in the restrictive, calorie-counting way familiar to many in the West. Instead, people in blue zones eat local, seasonal food, often homegrown, and meals are typically plant-forward, rich in legumes, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and olive oil. Animal protein is consumed sparingly, often just a few times a week. In Nicoya, the cornerstone is the three sisters of Mesoamerican cuisine: corn, beans, and squash. In Ikaria and Sardinia, wild greens and herbs rich in polyphenol and anti-inflammatory compounds make up a large portion of the diet. Fermented foods, modest alcohol consumption, usually red wine with meals, and almost no ultra-processed food also appear to be significant protective factors. Salento fits well into this framework with its Mediterranean roots, characterized by generous use of olive oil, wild herbs, and a love for fresh, seasonal cooking. But food is only part of the story. Physical activity in blue zones isn't structured around workouts or gyms, but is embedded in daily life. Whether it's gardening in Okinawa, walking steep village paths in Sardinia, or tending to animals and fields in Nicoya, movement is habitual and often social. This kind of low-intensity, high-frequency physical engagement supports cardiovascular fitness, metabolic health, and cognitive function well into advanced age. In fact, recent studies suggest that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, calories burned during everyday movement, may be a more powerful predictor of longevity than formal exercise routines, especially in aging populations. Another element that emerges again and again is a deep sense of social connectedness and emotional well-being. In Okinawa, elders are often part of a moai, a lifelong social group that offers emotional support, financial help, and shared experiences. In Loma Linda, the Seventh-day Adventist faith community provides both spiritual engagement and health-conscious living that includes regular communal meals and time for rest and reflection. In Salento, researchers have observed strong multi-generational bonds and a culture where the elderly remain deeply integrated into family life. A sense of belonging and purpose, what the Okinawans call ikigai, has measurable benefits for mental health and may lower stress hormones like cortisol, which have been linked to accelerated aging and immune dysfunction. Modern science is now working to decode the biological impact of these lifestyle patterns. Telomere length, a marker of cellular aging, has been shown to be longer in people who follow healthy diets, avoid smoking, manage stress, and stay socially engaged. Epigenetic studies suggest that lifestyle can influence how genes related to inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolism are expressed throughout life. The field of geroscience, a multidisciplinary approach to understanding aging, has increasingly embraced the idea that behavior, environment, and psychosocial factors are not peripheral, but central to healthy aging. Salento, though newer on the map of longevity research, has attracted attention for its combination of traditional Mediterranean lifestyle and genetic insights. Scientists working in the region have studied the role of bioactive compounds in local herbs, such as rosemary and oregano, and how these might reduce oxidative stress or support cardiovascular health. Preliminary findings also suggest that long-lived Salento residents have unique microbiome profiles and inflammation markers that reflect lifelong dietary and environmental exposures, not just genetic inheritance. There is a quiet but powerful message in these observations. Longevity is not merely a gift of good genes, but often the result of sustained, daily choices rooted in culture, community, and simplicity. The Blue Zone model is compelling not because it offers a prescriptive solution, but because it shows how wellness emerges naturally when people live in alignment with their environment and values. As global interest in life extension grows, driven by biotechnological breakthroughs, anti-aging supplements, and personalized medicine, the grounded wisdom of the Blue Zones offers a counterpoint. It reminds us that the most powerful interventions may not require a lab, but a garden. That regular human connection may buffer stress better than any pill, and that living long and well may be less about hacking biology and more about nurturing the conditions in which health naturally thrives. In this sense, Blue Zones are not relics of an outdated way of life. They are living laboratories for the future of preventive medicine. And the more we study them, the more we understand that health and longevity are not distant goals but attainable outcomes, woven daily through the threads of what we eat, how we move, who we love, and why we wake up in the morning.